How important our goals are in our life? Well, that's a big question, I guess. To achieve our goals and to fulfill our wants, today we are trying our level best. But in this process of chasing our dreams, many of us don't know that whether we are putting our efforts in right direction or not. Here a crucial role of an appropriate mentor and his guidance comes into picture. Because in the end, a right guidance from a right person helps us to proceed further in the best possible way. Today, we have a very special guest with us, Mr. Apurv Dhingra. Let's hear it from him in the new episode of the AK Show, that what kind of mindset and an appropriate approach is required in one's endeavor.
Hello, friends. I'm Kunal, your host, and today we have a very special guest with us. So let's welcome Apurva sir on board. Hi, sir. How are you?
Yeah. Hi, Kunal. Thank you for inviting me to your show. I
Yeah.
hope I'm able to share some insights with the viewers today.
And in this pandemic, I hope, sir, that you and your family is safe. Along with
Uh,
our viewers are also safe in this pandemic.
yeah, I hope everybody has taken their first doses of vaccination at least, or have got fully vaccinated and are safe at our homes.
Okay, that's great, sir. Sir, our viewers would like to know something about yourself. So, please, sir, please introduce yourself.
So hi everyone. I'm Apurv Dhingra, currently working as Vice President at Credit Suisse. So I've been associated with Credit Suisse for last roughly 10 years. Prior to that, I did my internship and job at ING Vysya Bank. That was my first job. And prior to that, I also did an internship with RBI during my MBA at Symbiosis Bangalore. And I'm an engineering grad from in computer science from NIT Bhopal.
Okay, that's great,
Yeah.
sir. So you have basically a very diverse background. Yeah, that's great. So, sir, my question to you is, right after your graduation, you might be having an offer from an MNC. So, considering what factors you decided that you should go for MBA from Symbiosis, and that too in finance.
Mm, so right after I had completed my engineering, right, and we had normal campus placements, I got through a pretty good name. And as I was evaluating the offer, the subprime crisis was unfolding. So we had already read it was 2008, and the Lehman event, right, as we know it now, had already occurred, and there was complete chaos on the street. And I used to have a lot of discussion with my parents and everybody, right, and we did expect that a big slowdown is going to definitely come in the industry. And based on this intuition, right, I thought that uh, continuing my studies is the right decision at the moment rather than joining a firm. And hence I declined the offer. And as I was already preparing for MBA exams, I chose to join the masters in symbiosis. So that was the first part. And specialization, right, in symbiosis was at that point, right, not very strict. So we had an option to decide it after joining the college. And during lectures and with various professors, we had very good faculty, right. Professor Pankaj Gupta from IIM Kozhikode was deputed as director of our institute, and he brought us A level faculty uh, to Symbiosis Bangalore. We were the first batch, but still we had amazing faculty. And interacting with them, reading about various subjects, finance, marketing, HR, and operations, right? I just found that I had my interest in finance. I just enjoyed reading the subjects, enjoyed solving the tests and the puzzles, and that's how I concluded that I should do my master's specifically in finance.
Okay, that's great, sir. So, sir, while pursuing MBA, there are two types of students. First, who know that what they want to do and where they want to go, and second one
Mm,
are those who are not clear with their goals and they are not clear with the path that where they want to go.
mm.
So, you belong to which category?
Uh, So obviously you start with you're not clear, category 2, right? Everybody starts with lack of clarity. But then to go reach from type 2 to type 1, right, needs where we are completely clear of what we want to do. We have to do research. We have to put some effort. Try going through various so as a student, right, you start trying to understand the career growth of various people, right? There are so many tools right now, like LinkedIn is one of them. Glassdoor is another. There are so many online tools available. You can speak to industry professionals and not your friends, your teachers, right? And try to understand, first of all, that is quite key, is where your interest lies. Figuring that out is, I think, the most important part, and leaving aside a job or career or anything, right? Just try to figure out what you're interested in doing, and if that is and trying to figure out that is your passion or not. And once you are very clear on what your passion is, right, then you start figuring out career prospects in that passion. So I think that two-stage process needs to happen. So for some people, it happens faster than the others. But for even if you're slow, right, there is ample time to just read around, talk to people, watch YouTube videos, and you slowly get a hang of it. Finally, coming to the last part, career prospects, right? If specifically you want to join a corporate job, then start looking at specifically I mentioned Glassdoor and LinkedIn, right? They have a lot of jobs options. Even if, right, you are a fresher, you don't have any experience, you go through job descriptions, right? Start going through a number of job descriptions on your own, and you will know what skill sets are needed to actually be in that job.
Okay, so sir said very correctly that being fast or slow doesn't matter, but being on the right track does matter. Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Sir, I have another question for you. That is, while pursuing MBA, most of the students go ahead with their internships right after the completion of their first year. So, how important
Correct.
internships are, and what are the benefits of internship, and how an MBA grad should look at an internship in terms of learning and career prospect?
Right. I was lucky to, and I would say I was prepared to get my first internship in RBI, and I had very good exposure when I interacted with a number of senior professionals in the banking industry, and not just RBI, across various banks that I went into as part of my internship. So I think that internship is the key, and whether you get paid or not in in your internship doesn't really matter. But the learning that you can get out of an internship is something you cannot get at a later point in time, because you can experiment, you can you get a lot of insights about about the industry, and at that point you can do as many internships as possible, right? There are people who in fact do 2 or 3 internships during the summer time. So just grab as many opportunities and as many diverse experiences. I was, for example, as your previous question, right, in that if students who don't have clarity, right, they can
Mm-hmm.
do multiple internships as well. There is no restriction on doing one internship or 2 internship, right? You can do multiple internships and figure out whether that area or is interesting enough for you or not. Once you are very clear on interest, then your internship is the next like builds your base into that right direction, so that you start understanding the industry or area you would want to go. And we had in specifically for me, we also had a concept of internship, where that was just a one-off, where our institute allowed. So since we were 2008 2010 pass outs, right, 2010 was a very difficult year, maybe as difficult as the year in the time that we're going right now during the pandemic for freshers. So through this all my previous interactions with corporates, I was able to get another internship at ING Bank, right, where eventually I converted into my first job. So
Okay.
internships do help and give you a very good perspective of the industry, and
Mm-hmm.
also tell you whether you should not go any further, right, if you don't like that area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, sir, as you said that you converted your internship into a job. So, how easy or difficult it was for you to get your first job?
So see, I was very clear, right, on that within banking. I was also focused on risk management, Basel norms, etc. So I had read a lot about this area. Fortunately, I got my first internship in RBI in that same area, and then I built on top of it through my winter internship in risk management as well. So because of this focus, right, I had already built my CV on to it. So getting the my first job, so I had opted out of my campus placements because I was very clear that campus will not be able to give me this particular kind of role. So and I gave my full 120% to my internship, and that really helped me in getting through my first job at ING uh, into risk management. Right, something that is quite difficult, I would say, to get right out of college for any grad, whether it's any IM or any of the graduations. Yeah.
Hmm. That's great, sir. Correctly said that your interest matters, and as well as the roles that you want to execute by being a part of any MNC, that also does matters. So, sir, on that basis, I would like to know that students who are pursuing their MBA in finance should go ahead with what kind of certification courses or what kind of professional courses.
So certifications do help, right? I did not first disclosure. I did not do any of these certifications, but it's not like people should not do. So there are two kinds of people again, right? People who have a very good background in finance, and people who don't have a good background in finance and want to enter the finance field, right? People who don't have a good background in finance, right? They should definitely look at the certification courses. So whether again based on interest, whether they could go towards the CFA route and on the investment side, or go into the risk management route and do an FRM. So that is, I think, quite key for people who don't have the background of finance to enter into the area. As for people who are, say, already doing an MBA in finance, already have a background, for them it's, I would say, it's optional, because I would believe CFA level 1 or FRM level 1, right, most of the curriculum is already covered in the MBA curriculum. And level 2 is again based out of interest, right? If you specifically want to go into that area, only then you should think about level 2 and level 3. So I would say for MBA grads it's optional, but non by MBA finance grads it's optional. Non MBA finance or non CA students, I think that for them it is quite mandatory to get into the finance area.
Okay. Um, so it was a good information, sir. So, sir, I want to know that after MBA, most of the students are having joining letters and job offers with them. So, on what basis they should select their offers? By having a look at the CTC amount, or by having a look at the role and the MNC brand, or third option, the both.
Um, Obviously, both is the easiest answer, but right, it's often if you have a very good salary and very good brand, then that's almost like a no-brainer, right?
Mhm.
But I would say on priority, right, first I think you should always look at roles and responsibilities. Even that is sometimes even more important than the brand. So you could start off in a small firm, right? But still, your roles and responsibility could be very good, very diverse, and that will really help you build your career in the future. So I think roles and responsibility is the key to unlocking the MNC brand and the CTC at later points in time. So you have to think of it as a marathon and not think of it as a just getting a particular amount in your wallet, right? So start with the right role, and that uh, experience you can keep on building to the right brand, right GTC where you want, where your career goals are and what your achievements are.
Okay. So since you are operating as a vice president at Credit Suisse, so I want to know how important diversity is in corporate career, and how diversity helped you to grow.
So diversity is very important. You cannot just get in corporate world, right? You cannot just get stuck to a particular role or a designation or responsibility, right? It has to keep changing, keep evolving. So you should every 2 to 3 years, right? I once attended one of my seniors. I had just joined Credit Suisse, and that person just told me that Apurv, every 3 years you have to think about what you are doing and reevaluate your career, and never be in one particular role or profile for more than 3 years. So 3 years is, I would say, is the upward cutoff, pretty much, in a particular role. I'm not saying you should start thinking about quitting, but 3 years time after you spend 3 years in a particular role or a designation or anything, right? At a stage, you have to reevaluate, and I think you have to trust your intuition a lot. As you grow in your career, right? There are less and less people who are going to advise you. So at senior positions, that's why we need coaches where people turn to get advice. But at junior low levels, you have more people who are giving you advice. So uh, take 2 or 3 years as a stage and evaluate where you are, and then try to enter a new growth area. So it could be, if you are in a bank, risk management, you might want to go into a front office role, you might get into some other role. So keep on trying to move within. And I think one last thing, right, is that um, I was lucky to get multiple roles within my organization. You may or may not be as lucky in your organization where you belong to, but there are still opportunities internally. I think look at that. Because any organization internally will give you much more. There's a better chance of going into a different role within an organization compared to just quitting jobs and moving into a new role, because you could be just quitting and joining a new role, but you are pretty much, your roles and responsibility column does not change at all. And that is where the growth should keep happening first, right, before CTC or any other metric.
Okay. So very well said, sir. Sir, as you mentioned that your seniors advise you to not to stick to a role for more than 3 years. So from this we can say that uncertainty is the only certain thing in corporate career, and you should always look for diverse roles, or what we can say, you should always focus on continuous improvement.
Yes, that is right. For a long haul in the corporate world, that I think is the only mantra, that you're always agile, you are quick to seize opportunity, and keep on making adjustments always. It's like driving a car, right? You cannot just leave the car on a gear and forget about it. It's when the street becomes narrow, you have to go to first gear. And every time you switch a role, right, there is always a learning curve that happens again. You, even if you are in a career in the firm for 5 years, right, in the sixth year when you change your role, again you'll find a steep learning curve again. So that is why that learning curve will again happen. So you again have to go back to first gear and then slowly build on it, and as you go back to third or fourth gear. So this adjustment makes you flexible, fungible, and open to various positions, right?
Okay.
So yeah.
So finally, sir, I have one last question for you, that most of the students have this sort of mindset that uh, right after failure, most of the people find it unable to get out of it. So how do you deal with setbacks?
uh, yeah, that's a good question. Failures do happen. You have to keep trying, and obviously when you keep trying you do fail, and you will fail a lot, right? Whether it is getting the right job, getting the right promotion. At various stages, we will fail, right? We'll keep on failing till we are able to succeed. And you have to be patient always, uh, and understand that, right? That things do not work always at the pace that you want it to work. Rather than, sometimes you have to allow things to happen. So you have to wait and be patient, and think about how they should happen. And if you get too much, if there is too much anxiety and anxiousness that will come into the picture, right, that is how the setbacks will become even bigger for you. So there's a funny story actually that I can right now think about it. So at the time when I was being promoted to vice president, right, my manager called me to his cabin, right, and told me that he told me that uh, he told me with a very with a poker face, right, he told me that you have not gone through at all. We tried a lot, and sorry, things didn't work out and all of that. And I was completely cool, calm, composed, and I said okay, and I started leaving his cabin. And then he started laughing a lot, and then he told me that I was just kidding, you have made it okay. And I was happy, but even then I was not very excited. So he started feeling that maybe I already knew about the promotion. But I was like, mentally, I was I tried to take it in a very calm and cool fashion. So I was open to both, right? At 18 point, whether it was success or failure. I think only when that success and failure both are, when we treat them in the same fashion, I think that is the best way to deal with setbacks. And don't get too excited when you succeed, and don't be too sad when you fail. I think that is the should be the mantra.
Yeah, that's a really very good quality you have, sir. Because you and MS Dhoni share the same quality, that he is Mr. Cool and you are Mr. Vice President Cool.
No, no, Dhoni is Dhoni is at a very different level. Don't I don't think that is we are comparable, but yeah, but I think that holds for all of us, right? Like
Yeah.
Dhoni, we should be cool under all circumstances.
So in the end, I enjoyed our today's interaction really a lot. And viewers, please subscribe to our channel, The Whimsical TV. And for more videos, stay tuned to our show, The AK Show. Thank you.